Hello, and welcome back to the studio for a surprise unboxing. What? PlayStation Portal? Why do I have one of these? Well, there's a story. If you're new here, there's always a story. Now, if you don't care about the story, if you just want to see
what's in the box,
skip to the next chapter. But first I'll tell you my story. And it's actually two stories. The first story is why I bought it. The second story is how I got my hands on one when they're sold out everywhere in the United States. It's quite a story. But again, you may not care, skip on ahead at any time, and we'll get to what's in the box. So why did I buy one of these? I heard all about it when it was announced, and I saw all the videos and everybody talking about it and how everybody hated on it. Oh, they hated it. The main reason people hated it was $200. You're talking to the idiot who spent $200 on just the controller for a PS5. This is $200. It's a controller and a screen. So shut up. But I wasn't going to buy one because I live alone and I have an 83-inch OLED screen that I play my PlayStation on at 4K 120 hertz. So why on earth would I want a little tiny screen? Remember, I'm an old man. And so a little tiny screen, I'm going to have to wear reading glasses to play on it. There's no reason. There's just absolutely no reason for me to have one of these. So I wasn't even going to get one. Well, then why did I buy one? I'm out to lunch with my friend Brian, who I've mentioned before on the channel, and he's dropping subtle hints. Did I mention Brian is a retired police officer, and police officers aren't real good at subtlety? Well, he was saying, well, you know what would make a great Christmas present? A PlayStation Portal. And if that wasn't enough of a selling point for him, he said, I wouldn't mind if it had been unboxed on camera before you gave it to me. Yeah. So he really wants one. Now, by the way, he does have a reason to have one because he does not live alone. He has a wife and he has other people, family members come by, and he can't always use the PS5 because it's in the den with the main TV. And so if he had one of these, he could like go in the bedroom or go in another room and play with his PlayStation while there were people in the house. I get it. That's a good use case. In fact, that's really the only real use case for this is because if you watch all the videos, it's not really good. I mean, you can use it when you're away from your house, but for a lot of reasons that we'll get into later, it's not that good at it. So he has a use case. So I went, oh, okay. So while we're at lunch, I tell him, well, I wouldn't get your hopes up because, it sold out the minute they went on sale. Damn scalpers. And the only ones you can find are on eBay at like $300, $400, $500. $500 for a controller and a screen? I don't think so. I told him, ain't gonna happen. But I said, if I ever can get my hands on one, you will get one for Christmas. Well, I guess I'm kind of blowing the surprise, huh? Yeah, Brian, you're getting one for Christmas. That night, I went online, I was looking around, and of course, like I said, it was sold out everywhere. You couldn't get one for, well, except, again, scalpers. $200, $300 over retail, which is just ridiculous. I mean, I think it's worth $200. I don't think it's worth $300, $400, especially not $500. But while I'm looking around, I do my typical, I don't know if you know this trick. It's a good trick. You type in whatever you're looking for with the word price, and then Google assumes you're shopping, and it will try to find things for you to buy. So I typed in PlayStation Portal price, and it popped up GameStop had it in stock. Not the website. A GameStop in Olive Branch, Mississippi, which is about 20 minutes south of here, had them in stock. Now this is at night and they're closed. I went, well, and this is where the story starts taking a turn. And again, feel free, skip on by. We were in the middle of a thunderstorm and it was going to be thunderstorming for the next couple of days. But there was going to be this lull where the bands moved through. And so from like 9 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon, it wasn't going to rain. And I went, well, there'll be a gap. GameStop opens at 11. And this is important for me, there's a Whataburger not far from this particular GameStop. And I haven't been to Whataburger in a while. They're recently come to the Memphis area. So I figure I'll go down, I'll get to Whataburger like at 10:30, have lunch. And then at 11, I'll go to GameStop when they open and see if it really is in stock, which, again, I didn't think so. I had trouble getting going in the morning. By the time I got down there, it was already like 11:15. But I was so hungry at this point that I went straight to Whataburger and had my lunch, which meant, I don't know if you've ever been to Whataburger, but they cook to order. So it took a while. So by the time I got to GameStop, it was maybe 11:45. They'd been open for like 45 minutes. Walked into GameStop. I think you know where I got this. So I walked into GameStop and said, your website says you have PlayStation Portal in stock. Is that true? He said, well, it was. I just sold one about a half hour ago. I went, oh, great. So if I had come here instead of going to lunch, I would have bought one. He said, yeah, that's kind of the way it went. I said, oh, well. He said, but what? He said, I'll go check in the back. Maybe there's one. The computer says there aren't anymore, but I'll just go look in the back. So he goes in the back, and I talked to a couple of the other people in the store who were there, you know, other old guys, because that's what old guys do on a Monday morning at GameStop. So I'm talking to the other guys, and one of them said, so, was your burger worth it? I said, well, since this isn't for me, yeah. I mean, it won't break my heart if they don't have it, but I mean, it'll break Brian. Well, Brian would never know. So I stand there and talk to the guys, to the other customers, and the guy comes back with this in his hand. He said, it hadn't been checked in yet, but it was sitting back there, and it's the last one. So I got the last PlayStation Portal in stock at GameStop in the United States, like 6 days after the release. And here it is. Okay, maybe that wasn't such a great story. I enjoyed it. It was a fun time. I got what I went for. Whataburger's burgers are just amazing. Well, let's see what's in the box, shall we? So this is the PlayStation Portal. It's pretty much the most useless thing ever made, again, which is why I wasn't going to buy one. Because they basically took a PlayStation controller, cut it in half, spread it out, and put a little Android screen in the middle. And then proceeded to strip out all the power of that the processor that's in this thing, so that it can't do anything. And we'll talk about that as we go. But basically, it doesn't support Bluetooth. If you have to either plug in a thing, or you have to buy Sony's new PlayStation Link, new earbuds and headsets, which, by the way, aren't even available yet. They're not available until later this year or beginning of next year. But I got one. Well, Brian's getting one. So let's see what's in here. Put your PS5 in the palm of your hand. Oh, there's a little spacer down at this end. Now, this is kind of cute. They put a little tab here so that you'll know. See, it has the little XO, has the little controller symbols on it. And you pull it out like a drawer. Sony does all right with the packaging. So it has a little thing here so you can lift this part up. Under here, the USB-C to USB-C charging cable, because that's all it will do is charge. And then this is the actual unit. And then, hey, it's Sony. Yeah, I know there's going to be a booklet. With Sony, there's always a booklet. This doesn't look like much of a booklet. Okay, first thing, it says, the only thing you can really spot right away, it says charge it. Well, we'll find out. I'm about to see if I need to charge it. We may pause. Here is the actual thing. And like I just described, it is a DualSense controller split in half with an 8-inch screen in between. The 8-inch screen, by the way, is 1080p, 60 hertz. It's not bad. Oh, it even has, like, see, the power button is right around here, so it has a little symbol on the front to tell you that the power button is there. The PlayStation Link for their new stuff that you can't buy yet is right there. Your volume up and down. There are speakers. In fact, there's little tiny speaker slits here where the speakers come out, and then there's your volume up and down buttons. You have your normal PlayStation controls. The PlayStation button is over here on the left. I'm right-handed. I'm used to clicking it with my right, but I'll get used to that. On the right, it has the little indicator to let you know if you're muted. It's a DualSense controller, so you have the adaptive triggers. You got everything you get in a regular DualSense controller, only now there's a screen in the middle. So we pull this back. Well, that didn't make any sound at all. I'm going to save this so I can put it back on before I re-gift it. Well, let's press the power button and see how much charge it comes with. it was just slow to start. And still slow. I don't know if you can hear that. It plays its own little song. So let's select our language, which of course would be English United States. Network found. Is this a touch screen? Yes, it is. I need to update the system software. I will agree to whatever they're making me agree to. While we're doing this, notice the lighting here around on the side. They took that from this controller, the professional controller. It's kind of cooler looking than the regular DualSense controller, so they stole that idea. Probably stole the whole thing. It was probably the exact same. I don't know. I was gonna say it took so long, it outplayed the music, but the music just restarted. From other videos I watched, I know that this whole process is going to take about 15 minutes. Although I do wonder, did it come with enough battery to go through 15 minutes of installing software updates? The download went really fast. The install is really slow. I guess like all things, iPhones, everybody takes a long time to actually install. But this is taking a long time. The sad thing is that I know that this is only one of 3 software updates it's going to do. There we go. I'm assuming it's rebooting. Yes. Now it's updating the controller device software. Yeah, I predicted this. Although this is going much faster. And now the PS Link device software, which it's updating even though there are no PS Link devices available. You can't buy something to link to this yet. And that's their whole excuse for not enabling Bluetooth. You can go watch other videos. Apparently there's no web browser on here either, and because they're afraid either by using a web browser or by Bluetooth, you'll somehow be able to jailbreak this and use it in ways that Sony didn't intend, and God forbid that should happen. I know. A lot of other YouTubers have prognosticated that perhaps the ability to use the PS Plus streaming of like old PS3 and PS2 games will be coming to this, but they didn't want to announce that right away because they sold out instantly. Imagine if it also did that, then everybody would want one, because that would actually make it useful away from your home. Now we're restarting again. We've done the 3 software updates. I just can't believe I found one. You know, I've told you in other videos that things just happen to go my way a lot of times. Well, this was one of those things. At last. I have to sign into the PlayStation network, which, since of course this doesn't directly connect to the internet, you have to scan the QR code on your phone. Now we're getting somewhere. Connect to a PS5 to play. Well, there's my PS5 sitting downstairs. It's not on, by the way. It's in standby. I have remote play turned on down there. It's in rest mode. Oh, now I see my bars. Okay, I have 2. They don't have percentages on the battery. That's one of the downsides of this thing. My signal strength is good on the Wi-Fi, as you can see, but it just does 1, 2, or 3 bars. So I've lost, I'm down to 2 bars. Success. Okay, that's the coolest thing, that it does the little portal. It actually opens a portal to your PS5. Well, allegedly. Great demo, huh? Ready to play. So shouldn't it do a little animation? There it is. And that is, in fact, the screen of Wigo Connected. See, this is why I don't want one, because I have to put on reading glasses to see what's on this little screen. Recently I've been playing Tales of Arise, but you want to see a game that's like graphically challenging. How about Final Fantasy 16? Now remember, my PS5 is set up to run 4K 120. This only does 1080p 60. And I've seen videos that say if you really want the best possible results, you should change your PS5 to be the same as this. I'm not going to do that. I cannot see what those little buttons say. Continue. Let's do a continue. I don't know where I was. last time I was in here. Apparently I was in Orabelle Downs. Oh, now see, down here on the screen it says local map, and it's the touch panel. But it doesn't have one. But yes, it does. There it is. Awfully jerky. It's not terrible. Where's something I can fight?
Not another step.
This is playable. I mean, it's not fantastic. You see, it's a little jerky. Try Little Trails of Reverie. So, if you haven't played Trails from Reverie yet, don't look. Yeah, see, this is much less graphically challenging. There's been some audio dropouts, but for the most part, it's working pretty good. And as you could have clearly seen several times as I jump around, I mean, you can do anything on your PlayStation. I can go to the store and buy a new game and start playing that. I mean, you have full control of your PS5 remotely, so you can buy a new game and start playing without going into the other room, and I'm pretty impressed. Now, I believe if we swipe down, we get a disconnect. And you can disconnect. Now, if you just disconnect, the PS5 will stay on. But if you hit this little button, it'll put the PS5 back into rest mode when you disconnect, so that your PS5 isn't running until it gets tired. And the portal closes. It may not. Whoa, it woke up way faster than I thought it would. The audio is okay. The video could be a little laggy. Again, there are other videos and people say try things. Oh, one of the things is it's only Wi-Fi 5. And now all my stuff is Wi-Fi 6, but this is only Wi-Fi 5, so it's not going to get that faster speed there. And it will automatically prefer the 2.4 gigahertz band, not the 5 gigahertz band. You may have to go in and set your router so that you create a 5 gigahertz band only, so that this can connect to that band, so that you don't get the slower speeds of the 2.4 gigahertz band. Okay, and then to turn it off, I just hit this power button up here. Oh, power off or restart. Shutting down. Would I buy one of these? Absolutely not. I have no use case for it. I don't need to play my PlayStation 5 games when I'm not sitting in front of my 83-inch OLED screen, which I paid $5,000 to be able to play 120 hertz 4K games on. So that's where I play. But for like my friend Brian, who would like to be able to maybe in bed before he goes to bed, play a little, or when he has family over and wants to get away from him and go play in the other room, this is not a bad little thing. The people whining about the price. You're willing to pay $200 for just a controller. Whoa, but a controller with a screen. Oh, well, that's definitely not worth $200. Well, yeah, but the Valve, but the Valve isn't $200. The Steam Deck isn't $200. The Nintendo Switch isn't $200. They keep comparing it to these things that are computers that run their own games, but that's not what this is. And again, 1080 screen, and I believe the Switch, and I think the Steam Deck, and a lot of the other guys are 720p. So this is 1080, 60 hertz, 8 inches, which is a bigger screen than a lot of the other handhelds, but it's apples and oranges. This is not a handheld game machine. This is a handheld, make your PS5 a little bit portable device. It is not a take your game library with you. Your game library stays on your PC. Because of the no web browser, it means any place you go that has Wi-Fi that you have to go to a web page and agree to terms for, well, you can't do that. So, although it does work with personal hotspots, although there's some videos you can go watch where that's right at the edge. If you're in a city with really good 5G and you have a really good 5G signal, then maybe on a personal hotspot, you could maybe play this while you're away from home, but I wouldn't push it. This is a limited use device, but it does exactly what it says it will do. This device is not for me, but I think it is absolutely worth the $200. Plus, you got the haptic feedback, you got the adaptive. I think it's worth $200 for a very specific use case, which does not appeal to me. I do not want to go through life using reading glasses to see a screen. In fact, I've seen people call this like the dad station. You know, it's your PS5 for dads, because like when the kids are in the room, or you can take this in another room and then be playing on the PlayStation while they're doing whatever, or watching TV. If you can find one. I hope the scalpers choke on these and don't sell them. Well, I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving. I know I did, and I know Brian will. Well, actually, Brian will have a happy... He's going to watch the video. I'm not going to be able to wait till Christmas to give this to him, because he's going to watch this video and go, oh, where is it? So, Brian, yeah, come get it. That is my review of the PlayStation Portal. I think it's a decent little device for what it does. Again, and what it does is very limited. And if you want something that does other things, this isn't for you. Go get yourself a Steam Deck or a ROG Ally or any of the or a Nintendo Switch. If you want to be able to play PS5 games other than sitting right in front of your PS5, this will do it for $200. I'm thinking not a bad deal. That is my review of the PlayStation Portal. It's a cute little device. I love the little animation. The speakers are in, and again, you can't use Bluetooth. You can plug, there's a headphone jack, so you can use regular headphones, which again, if you're trying to get away from your family, you probably don't want the sound coming out of that. And as you heard, well, when I held it up to the sounds, So that's what I think of the PlayStation Portal. I think it's worth $200 for a very specific use case, and if you fit that use case, then you should go try to find one. Go to your local GameStops. Who knows? They may have one in the back that didn't get checked in like the one I went to. And they'll be back in stock. You know Sony's going to make more of these because they want to sell them by Christmas. You know they're in the pipeline. Now that would be funny if they made so many that they actually dropped the price and the scalpers ended up having to sell them for less than they bought them for. That would make a lot of people happy. I have many reasons to give thanks. I found one of these. My back is feeling a little bit better. Not a lot better, but a little bit better. So thanks for stopping by. See you next time. And I'll continue waving in the background because I feel so much better. And I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for staying to the end. Bye-bye.